Coming up on this episode of the Spiro podcast. I think we take ourselves too seriously sometimes, especially in building a business. Not to speak against professionalism. We do want to be professional. I do have clients tell me that I'm very professional, but I'm also me, right? I can't not be me because then life is miserable. So build a culture where you can let people be who they are, whether they're Star Wars nerds or, sports fanatics or we're human beings. We're not human doings. We're human beings.
Welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magro.
Welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a software platform designed and created by real estate photographers and videographers for real estate photographers and videographers, designed to help you manage and run your day-to-day business, but ultimately help you scale up and be efficient and help you reach your business goals, make the business work for you, as Todd so eloquently says from time to time. And speaking of Todd, our co-host, Spiro owner and founder, Todd Kivimaki. Welcome to another podcast, Todd.
Craig, fabulous to be back. I've so much going through my head this morning, and you told me a story off air here, and I don't know if I'm allowed to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up because I'll be transparent with you all. These we try to scan what's going on out there in the real estate media verse. And I have coaching calls with other business owners, and I try to keep those topics at top of mind. And I feel like sometimes like I'm talking about the same thing over and over again. And the group of ladies did a fabulous job. If you have not listened to that podcast, go back 2 ago, I believe now, and listen to them. Even a viewer said best podcast ever, and like no disrespect for the guys. I'm actually excited that they're doing it better than us.
Yep.
But one thing you said to me, Craig, was about a situation you had at home, and I've thought lately a lot about topics and things that I do outside of business that I'm like, I used to do this differently. And I don't know if I should talk about this on the podcast because these are adults. They can do what they want. But honestly, I've been struggling with that a little bit because there's been plenty of people that have mentored me that I've picked up on these things. Financial things, how I deal with my wife, situations, my kids. And I just have felt really drawn to like, I want to share this, but I don't want to tell adults how to be adults. But Craig, and I hate to put you on the spot, although you know I love it.
And yeah, you do.
Would you just tell that story? Because I think that's something that we all struggle with and that's so practical. And I think if people can think about you in this situation, they'll go, oh, yeah, I can do the same as Craig.
Well, I'm not, let me preface this by saying I'm not perfect in this. I fail. I cave, especially when I'm under stress or anxiety. But so here's the story. I'll try and keep it succinct, but I'm diabetic. Okay. Have a bad family history with it, and combination of I just historically have not always eaten the best. Just full disclosure. And it's been a struggle to get it under control for various reasons, just mentally, emotionally. Haven't taken care of myself the way I need to and make the changes that I've needed to. But in the last probably 2 or 3 weeks, I got tired of dealing with it, and a switch kind of flipped in my brain. And this is usually how it happens. There has to be a switch in my brain that just flips, and I make a decision. I'm not doing this anymore. Now, again, even in that, there's still failure, but it's get back on the bandwagon. My mindset is different, and it's related to my eating. And I've noticed when I eat better, I think better. My mental clarity is better. I'm not in a fog. I'm not dealing with depression nearly as much when I eat cleaner. So it's cutting out sugar and most carbs. other than some good carbs like vegetables, things like that. So I made a decision about 2 weeks ago. I'm going cold turkey. I'm going protein only. I won't go all into it, but I made the switch in my brain, right? Well, one of my weaknesses is Reese's peanut butter cups.
Ooh, they are good.
I love Reese's. It's
Oh,
like the best candy, right? I love peanut butter, just anything peanut butter. And so I've been eating clean the last week or so, right? And about 3 or 4 days ago, I opened the fridge and staring me in the face,
oh,
right at eye level,
oh
Todd,
no.
the inside door of the right side of the fridge, staring me right in the face, is this bright orange can with the yellow Reese's logo across it. And I'm like, "What the heck is this?"
Dun dun
And I
dun.
take it out, and it's a Reese's iced coffee, drink that I'm like, "This looks stinking amazing. Why is this in here? Is it did my wife knows I love Reese's. Did she do this because she loves me?" And I'm looking all over the can for the zero sugar, like, please tell me this is zero sugar and this isn't some cruel joke. And I cannot find a zero sugar label on here anywhere. I turn it around to look at the nutritional information. 36 grams of sugar, Todd,
Whoa, in a serving
in one can. In one can.
with
And I'm
canned
like,
in it. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
so admittedly, I love my wife. We have a great relationship. But the first thing I think is she trying to kill me?
You guys just re-up an insurance policy or something?
Right? Right? I'm like, I cannot drink this. Why did she buy this knowing I love Reese's? And I just made the switch in my brain. I'm being good on my eating. And I put it back. I didn't drink it. I'm like, I can't do this. I mean,
Oh, good for you.
well, I've got to I've got to look at sugar and carbs as poison for my body.
Yeah.
And just that, and it's hard because still there's those weak times where I decide I'm not going to look at it like poison and I eat it anyway, right? But in that moment, I made the right decision. I put it back and I kind of forgot about it. A couple of days go by, and just this morning, before we recorded this, I opened the fridge. I saw that can again. I'm like,
And you chugged two of them?
no,
Oh,
I,
okay.
s-
Sorry.
I still did not.
Good for you.
I still did not drink it. She was out running an errand with our youngest, and she gets back. And before the podcast starts here, I said, "By the way, you and I need to talk." And normally I don't phrase things that way. She's like, and look of panic across her. She's like, "What? What I do?" I'm like, "Come here." And I also don't ever say that to my wife. Come here. But it was, I was trying to project some sort of lightheartedness. I didn't have an angry look on my face. It was kind of a smirk. Yeah, she has a certain name for that smirk. But anyway, um, we, I'm like, "Follow me." She's like, "What did I do?" And I go into the kitchen, I open the fridge, and I grab the can. And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Oh, that."
That.
I'm like, "What are you doing? And she goes like, "Yeah, I know. I'm like, "This is staring me right in the face." She goes, "I'll drink it tomorrow when you're gone, so it's not in your face." So that was the story. You know, I laugh about it, but I haven't drank it. Now I've cheated in a few other small ways the last day or two, and I need to get back on. But uh, okay, I got that off my chest.
Well, good for you, Craig. And thank you for sharing. When you shared that with me, I was like, I think this is just so relevant because,
I can't wait to see how you tie this in.
well, I think there's many of you and us out there, I'll put myself in this, that you are all very high level overachievers. Okay. You are. You would not be listening to podcasts and diving in and trying to gain some sort of knowledge if you weren't an overachiever. And I have found that in my life, I will justify some not so great activities because of the hard work that I feel like I've done. Now, I love my mother to death. She was the best mother. But as I've shared before, I was the youngest by 10 years. So I was not only the youngest, but like an only child.
Mm-hmm.
And I could do no wrong. And my mother was always like, "Well, you worked hard, you deserve it."
Hmm.
And I really appreciate that about my mom because my mom instilled a lot of things in me, but one of them was this thought that I could accomplish anything.
Hmm.
I always say that I have this dumb stupidity that I think I can do anything. Like, you tell me to build a rocket, like, I can build that rocket. You Elon, yeah, watch out, like, I'm gonna get you a rocket. Like, I'll build a real rocket. Like, I really think I can do that. But one thing that I was kinda conditioned to is like, "Oh, you deserve that." And I actually
Hmm.
learned this from my in-laws who are very more reserved with money. I'm not saying my parents were terrible. They went through times of having no money. I remember those are like, very little like don't know what this is and they're fighting about and it's money and it's like so they went through some very hard times, but I'll have to say that they were pretty established by the time I could remember and they provided for me very well. I learned different from my in-laws. So the same thing, like where I was accustomed to saying, "Oh, I've worked hard this week, a lot of hours. Let me look for something to buy so I feel good."
Hmm.
Much like going to the refrigerator. Oh, it was a long day today. You've been working hard, Craig. Treat yourself to, 36 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
And I think we're all struggling with that at some capacity.
Well, it's built into our advertising and marketing. Look at any commercial on TV. You deserve this.
Mhm.
That's always the message.
Yeah, it is. And what you focus on will expand.
Hmm.
It will find you and you will pick up on it. I always give the example, and this wasn't my example, but have you ever gone shopping for a car? And you drive the car, and then in the time of driving the car, it's top of mind, you begin to recognize every other car of that on the road.
Yeah.
Like, well, there's cars everywhere. You never noticed those cars before. Maybe you didn't even know they existed, but you recognize them now. That's the way our brain works. So I think that's great to say no to it. It wasn't easy, but in the long run, you are doing the right thing for your health, Craig. So I just ask all of you because I feel this has been on my heart for a little bit. And again, if you don't want me to, I understand you all are adults out there, and I'm not trying to preach to you about things that you shouldn't be doing. But I do think that if you take care of yourself, you will be the better version of yourself so that your business can reach its goals, succeed faster, further, all of those great things. And if you're like, hey, the sugar thing. So a little transparency here. My wife will probably kill me for saying this. I should actually probably have her on a podcast, but my wife went like organic, clean, like we jumped into the deep end. Well, like
Mhm.
she took me with her because I trust her. And I have lots of little snarky comments, and she calls those something too, Craig, much like your wife. But I trusted her enough to let her manage the household with the kids. And so you will not, like, we are clean, clean. Like, I stand in the pantry for probably an hour each night looking for just something in there. Like, it's got to be in here somewhere. Like, everything's organic, whole foods, like all of this stuff. And I'm like, but I will tell you after a while, I just don't even notice it anymore. And I'm not saying I eat the best, but I think when you start to cut some of these things out of your life that you depend on, that could be sugar for you, that could be smoking, that could be your phone, that could be you know what it is. You will find that you really don't need it.
Mhm.
And that's the crazy thing. If sugar is your thing, here's just a fun fact, and I'll get off my high horse. Your body processes, I think, 25 to 40 grams of sugar a day. That's all it can contain. So if you
Hmm.
give it 36 grams of sugar in an 8-ounce can of coffee, you are almost over the limit or over the limit of what your body can do with that sugar. It knows it can't. So if it doesn't process it, it becomes like poison to your body. It adds up
Mhm.
and it adds up and it adds up. And not only does it add up, but you become addicted to it. My wife could tell you this, and again, last one, I'll get off my high horse, but I believe sugar is more addictive than, like, most drugs out there.
I think I've heard cocaine specifically.
Cocaine, yes, okay. I was gonna say cocaine, it's like, that might be a little extreme, I might be making that up,
I
but yeah,
I
I
think
think
I've heard that.
yeah. So, we say this because we care about you all,
Mhm.
and if you are ever clocking out of work saying, "I don't feel completely fulfilled. I don't feel great. Oh, I woke up and it took me longer to get going." And again, I'm not perfect. As Craig said, he's not perfect. But I've learned these things along the ways and I still struggle with them.
Mhm.
This might be the little push you need just to say, nope, I'm not going to do it. Give it up enough and you won't want it. I'm not preaching from the choir here at all, but sugar is something that we've given up. And when I put it in my body now on the times I'm like, oh, it's Saturday night, we're at the ice cream like, we don't do ice cream anymore, y'all. And I used to think like my kids, like, we're not going to do ice cream. Like, no, they don't even care about it anymore because they get sick from it. They don't feel great from it.
Yeah.
So you work long enough at something, you're not going to depend on it and not going to need it. And then you're like, how did I ever do that?
I think the mental clarity that comes with it too is what I need to kind of focus on because of what I've struggled with in the past. And I've like I said, I've noticed when I eat cleaner, I think better, and I'm not as susceptible to a lot of anxiety or depression or focus on self. I'm able to focus on other people, which is important in my role as a business development specialist. I need to be thinking about the clients. I need to not be thinking about my woes and struggles and whatnot. Right? I'm not going to be an effective business developer if I'm only thinking about myself because my mind is clouded by the crap that I'm eating. So
Yeah.
even if you're not a business owner listening to this, and maybe you are in a sales, role like I am, that these things still apply to you. You still are managing a territory that you, for lack of a better word, you kind of own that. No, you're not the owner. I'm not the owner of WoW. I've had people ask me like, no, I don't own WoW, but I care for my territory like I am the owner. And people have because I, I'm not saying this to brag, but I think because I do approach it that way, people assume they're like, you're the owner, right? I'm like, no, no, I'm not. I just want to take really good care of you. I appreciate their business and I don't take it for granted. I know I have competition out there that is also doing a very good job. So I got to give my best every day. And I can't give my best every day if I'm not taking care of myself. I'm preaching at myself right now, Todd, and
Yeah.
reminding myself.
Well, we all need it, Craig. And I don't know if I've ever verbalized this, but I'm so appreciative that people ask you if you're the owner. Like to me, that is just from my perspective, like that is just shows how incredible of a person you are to take that level of care with our clients. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. WoW has you and WoW as a whole has developed a great culture that I'm very comfortable in, and I've told multiple clients at this point in my life, I've found something I really enjoy doing with a company that I really enjoy working with, and I'd like to retire from WoW.
Mm.
That's just the environment I'm in. I'm confident in saying that, and yeah, so thanks for the work you've done in building the culture.
Well, I will tell you to be transparent that it hasn't always been like that. Uh, in fact, probably I operated WoW more time where I did not pay close enough attention or value this idea of culture enough. And I I I want you all to be aware of what your culture is because your culture isn't that you have a ping pong table in your office. Yeah, I stole that from a coach that I had one time, and that's the way he's like, "Hey, culture is not a ping pong table in your office." Okay, if you don't have an office, you understand what I'm saying. It's not like these kitschy things that you have. Yes, we have a massage chair in the office, but it's not the culture of the office. I thought, hey, if we get a massage chair and we had a ping pong table, I hate even admitting this stuff. Like, oh, we got a great culture. Like people want to have fun. I'll tell you, even early on, we thought, hey, maybe it'd be great to get like some draft beers. This is back when I drank. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had draft? Like Google has it. Like we should probably look at that.
Hmm.
My insurance guy went, you might want to rethink.
Can can I pause right there? I think this is a good spot to put
Yeah.
this in. So you're setting up that it hasn't always been this way. So here's how we would kind of summarize the topic that we're talking about today. The mistake that we made for 20 years and the pain that finally fixed it.
And the mistake. So this idea of what culture actually is. So it's not the perks that you have, okay? It's not your
Mhm.
massage chair. It's not the fact that they get to work from home or you guys get together for Top Golf once a quarter. It's not vibes like, hey, we're laid back. Hey, we're artsy. It's not these vibes. Um, it's values. It's values that you have that you then project and trumpet throughout your company. And this is where I find as you scale a business, you'll begin to plateau if you don't focus on those values that lead to your culture. You can scale a company to a decent size. You can have yourself 1, 2, 3 employees. And you're still close enough to them, though, that I think you just inherently build this culture with them. But when you begin to scale 5, 10, 15, 20 people, these people go home every day and they talk about you. They talk about your business. What are they saying? And it's your job to make sure that you control what they say and you stand for these values that create your culture.
When you're talking about values, Todd, the thing that it is popping into my mind, it's kind of goes back to church culture and Christianity in our culture and things like that. And I understand not everybody's in that faith that listens to this, but here's what I'm thinking when I hear values and criticism towards church people that claim values but
Mhm.
don't necessarily live them out day to day. It's great to have a statement of values, say have it on your wall, whatever, but it's something entirely different to actually live those values out consistently. And I think when I say that, I really appreciate the culture of WoW. It's that not only do we have those value statements, but they, for the most part, no human being is perfect, no human organization is perfect. WoW isn't perfect, but for the most part, those values are actually lived out and taught.
Mhm.
And I can tell you, like, Chris, Jess, Steve, my supervisors are three of the best supervisors I've ever had, because there's certain values that they live out in being my managers and my leaders. One of them being trust. They trust me. They don't micromanage me. They do hold me accountable. We have weekly check-ins. We're looking at numbers, so I do have accountability. But it's not. I think the thing that I value the most is that the leadership team trusts me, and because of that, I trust them, and I want to give my best. And it's a team effort, and they live those things out in their leadership of me. So I just when I hear values, I think, okay, values are great, but it's the living them out in practical ways that really jumps out to me.
Yeah, for sure. So that's so good, Craig, because if you're out there thinking you're just going to have AI write these warm feeling core values
Yeah.
and put them on a wall, put them in the handbook, talk about them here and there, but you don't live them out, that they're going to crumble real quick.
Hmm.
If you're talking about trust, like Craig said, for example, and you don't give trust to others, you're never going to get it back and no one's going to trust each other at the company.
Yeah.
If you talk about our third core value is we are family. If I stop treating people like family around here, like Todd's a fake, like take the picture down on the wall that says we are family. I was listening to just a morning podcast inspirational on the way in, and And he talked about if you are lacking or wanting something in your life, you should give it.
Hmm.
For him, he was talking about love, and, like, he just felt like, uh, had tough parents growing up, like, showed hard love, but not love and care, and he found that if he wanted love in his life, he had to start giving it. So it was something as simple as, like, he would start giving it just in his head because it felt awkward. Like, it
Hmm.
feels awkward to look another human being and say, "I love you, man." Like, you know, from just a human to human perspective, "I love what you bring, and I'm so thankful for what you do." That's a pretty awkward thing. And if that's tough for you, he just started saying it in his head, like even just random people in the grocery store. Like, what does he hope for them? He hopes that they are, have a great, safe day, And then once you start saying this in your head, he began to just verbalize it little by little. And as
Hmm.
he showed love to others, then they reflected it back to him.
Yeah.
So
It,
if you're not getting trust from your team, what Craig mentioned, I will tell you, I'll rewind the calendar quite a few years. And there was a point to where I have felt very strongly that everybody needed to be in this office. They needed to show up, they needed to report, and they needed to be efficient 95% of the day. Like they should probably put their cell phone in a basket because I know they're looking at it underneath the desk. And I know if their monitor's turned a little bit, they're probably searching Facebook. We should probably take off Facebook from the router. Like I had these ideas and I questioned these things. And I had really good people here say, "Oh, they're actually working really hard."
hmm.
Well, no, I went by 6 weeks ago and somebody was looking at their phone. It's like, well, they asked me if they told me they were going to have a personal call come in and they asked if they could step out. Like, oh, and these things kind of hit me in the face. It's like, I didn't trust anybody, so why would they trust me? And why would they go to bat for me? And whatever you're struggling with in your business right now with your team, I talked to someone I'm coaching, and it was like this idea of like, when will they ever just do like we can't write any more SOPs. Like we can write we have a great resource of SOPs, but we can't write everything down, can we? I'm like, no, you can't. You can add to it, and it's always your next best draft. But your core values is what drives your employees when it's not written or remembered in the handbook. You can't train to every situation.
Right.
You just cannot. You- People can't comprehend all that in their head. And once you train them like that, they're not robots. They're just going to try to follow those SOPs, but they're not going to have any humanness in it. So that's why your core values are so important to your company so that your employees know when they don't know what to do or they've never been trained on this, just follow those North Stars, those core values.
Can we kind of work through what WOW's 5 core values are and kind of give some concrete examples of what you're talking about? We're given the 35,000 foot view. What's it look like for the owner day to day? Concrete working out those values.
Yeah, I'd love to. This will be a great test in a way I can put you on the spot, Craig.
Oh
But why
no,
don't you go with core value number? Like, if I've done my job with it, like, what's core value number one, Craig?
clients are our number one priority.
And no hesitation. Like,
Right.
nicely done, Craig. Yeah.
Well,
So to you, I wrote that. I didn't actually write it. I wrote down my feelings. Then Shannon actually wrote out these core values. We approved them together. So, but that's what I wanted as core value number one. What does that mean to you?
well, for me, it's no, I'm naturally wired this way, but I like to serve people. So it's kind of natural that for that to be our number one value, that aligns perfectly with how I like to operate in serving our clients. And we don't have a business if we don't have those clients. So if we're not meeting the needs of those clients and serving those needs, what's the point of what I'm doing? So my client is my number one priority. What do you need? How can I help you achieve that goal? do we have the tools to make that happen for you? If we don't, can we figure out a way to make that tool and serve that need for you?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's whether I'm actually shooting the photos and consulting with the realtor right there in the house and talking through their ideas, or if I'm sitting down to coffee and we're talking about their marketing strategy for the following year. It takes different shapes, but lots that you can do to make your client your number one priority.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is just a real quick example. This is from a customer service perspective, why our team up front, when a client's unhappy, feels that they have the flexibility to say, yeah, I'll go ahead and let me comp that re-edit for you. We're going to go ahead and take care of that. We're not going to charge you the 10 or $20 for that. We want you to be happy. You're a great client. Thank you so much for that. I understand your situation. It's on me this time. Core value number 2, our work is our character. With our first core value being clients are number one priority, that's a heavy feeling. Like I know many of you operate that too. Like that's a lot of like, oh my goodness, they're number one. Like they're and real estate agents. I love you all. You know, you've built everything I have, but you're a lot of work. Like my kids, like I love them to death, but they're a lot of work. It's hard work. But if it was easy, everybody would do it. And I actually really love this because I feel like the older I get, the more I see that people don't want to work hard.
Mm.
It's like this.
Oh, dang, Todd.
I'm sorry. I'm not saying any of you
Yeah,
listening to this podcast. I'm just saying, like, I
yeah,
noticed that people don't want to do hard anymore because they want easy. But as Les Hines said, you got to do hard first to get to easy.
yeah,
Core value number 3, Craig, you know it?
yeah. We're family.
Nice.
Yeah.
What does that mean in your words?
Well, I think it kind of goes
I
back
mean, we
to
really are, Craig, you and I. I mean, through marriage.
through marriage. We are, yeah. Our wives are cousins, so we literally are family. I share
Is
that
that
with a
what it
lot of
means
our.
though?
Not usually,
Okay.
not usually. No, but I think it goes back to what I mentioned before with, with Steve, Chris, and Jess being my supervisors, that they trust me. I trust them. I know they're looking out for my best interest. Um, it- it- you I think there is an element of character that goes into this. You have to have the right character to live out that kind of trust with people, and that you're actually looking out for people's best interests.
Mhm,
Um, so you gotta examine yourself and your motives. But just as an example, I get some travel compensation for my mileage and things like that, and they bumped that up a couple of weeks ago because they realized, holy moly, Craig's putting on a lot of miles, and what we're paying him isn't enough.
mhm,
And I didn't ask for that. I honestly, I wasn't even thinking about it. But they bumped that up and said that to me. And family takes care of each other. They're making sure they take care of me. I do the best work I can to take care of them and take care of the company. And yeah,
mhm.
family cares for each other.
Oh, Craig, this one is just hits home with me because I will tell you in the past, there was times where I would have been like, "We're getting a great deal from Craig right now because we're paying less on his mileage." And I will tell you that there's a direct correlation to one of our photographers many, many moons ago. And it was a photographer that had worked with us for a few years, and he was really liked in the city, and he shot a lot of houses, and he drove a lot of miles. He had this Prius, he drove a lot. And we're like, "Oh, this individual, like, we never really bumped up. He didn't ask for anything more. He just went and worked." And we was like, "Hey, great. He loves doing it." And like, we were ready, like, we scheduled a meeting. I remember we went down and we had lunch with him because we wanted him to do more at our company. But we had put him to the side and really taken advantage for too long.
Hmm.
We went in that meeting having these grand aspirations for how he would help us get to the next spot. And in this meeting, I'll never forget it. He was like, "Yeah, I really think that I'm going to be done shooting for you guys at the end of the month. I've talked to my fiance and these things, and this just ill will had built up of
Mm,
like him not feeling appreciated, him not being compensated properly, that that was a tough lesson for me to learn, that in the end, I saved a little bit of money because he was under probably what we should have been paying him, and I hate to admit this, but we lost a really key individual that people loved, and so I learned from that, that in the situations, that situation where the Craig's mileage came up, we sat up front not long ago, and Jess, Steve, and I, and we talked about gas prices, and Steve was like, "Oh," like, we talked about the photographers, them being as contractors. We did a bump for them for mileage, and Steve's like, "Oh, Craig's not in that group because he's a hybrid," but I'm like, "Oh, how does he get paid for mileage?" And so we went over, I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is like, whatever we need to do for Craig, take care of him." And Steve and Jess came up with it and sent it over. And so that's just like doing the right thing, even when someone's not asking for it. Please do that in your business, but also your life, and your life will change.
There's this concept taught in scripture called the sowing and reaping,
Mhm,
and you hinted to this earlier. What you want to get, give out. That's the concept. Sow, putting out seed,
mhm.
and that seed that you put out is going to grow, and you'll get the harvest from that. So yeah, you're talking about a very ancient teaching that is applicable to all of us.
Yeah, and that one never fails, I've learned. I just
Yeah.
and you can really make an impact on people just by doing the right thing. It will come back to you. Core value number 4, be as the disturbance in the force. Okay, it's the play off of the Star Wars, or off of Star Wars. And what it means is that we just want to do things differently in the industry. Heck, in 2004, we were shooting video on the internet. I've told the story many times. I won't go into it, but we did a dumb thing by saying, let's put video on the internet when the internet couldn't handle video. And so we just want to always look to what can we do that's different out there, and how can we be relevant and serve our clients better.
There you go.
And the last one, Craig, do you know it?
Think growth.
Good, you got it.
Whew.
You passed today. We'll send you a paycheck next week.
Thank you.
Okay, but this is an important one, and it's in there for a reason. What does that mean to you, Craig?
Well, as a business development specialist, I'm thinking I need to continually, just the down and dirty. I need to grow my business, right? And again, having that owner mentality, I know it's not my business. I don't own WoW, but I own this territory. I'm responsible for it. I have the job and the responsibility for growing our number of clients, our average order value. So I'm always thinking, how can we grow? But in that, I'm also helping. I'm thinking growth for our clients, because the services that we provide can help them grow, get their name out there more, advertise what they can do for sellers. So it's just, yeah, this overall concept of how can we grow together.
Yeah.
If basically if you're standing still, you're going to get past.
Mhm. And I think it's important that you designate this, or you verbalize this to your team, because after 23 years of being in business, we could probably coast for quite some time. I'm not trying to be brag or anything, but I'm just saying we've built enough that we could really just coast. We'll lose clients for sure, but we could probably coast into a smooth landing. But it's not our goal.
Can you hold off until I retire? Sorry, I couldn't help that. Sorry.
I love it, Craig. I'll consider it. No.
Okay.
But it is important because you will attract different people to your company. There's some people that would want to come in and have been at a large corporation, perhaps, and they sat in their office somewhere and they just did enough to not blip up on someone's radar and kind of just coast by. They did a good job. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, we are here to push. Like, we want to
Mhm.
grow every year. And growth can mean different things, but I think it is important that if you're a growing business, you need to make sure the people coming in are like, yeah, I'm ready to run for a little bit with you.
So this is all great talk, Todd, on building the culture, living out values, things like that. But let's be honest and let's be real. Sometimes you have members of your team that I'll start by being charitable. They don't necessarily get it or see it. It's not that they're opposed to it. They just don't quite have the same mindset. They're not at the same mind space as you as the owner.
Mhm,
And so they're not totally on board with it. Or unfortunately, there's times where we have team members that they've got their own agenda and they're
mhm,
not they're not there for the team values. How
mhm.
how do you how do you handle that as an owner, as a leader?
Yeah, first off, just look at reflect back on your actions and your team's actions. Have you really taken time to explain these, to drive them home? Do you live these things out? If you don't, then you can't expect your employees to get it from you through just osmosis.
Hmm.
So I always I then thank you for saying and taking that generous route to begin with. I always believe you should give your employees the benefit of the doubt. Far too many years, I jumped to conclusions, I assumed things, and I went into a conversation with a pointed state of mind, and I realized that I was wrong.
Hmm.
So, have you done your job? And is your conscience clouded with maybe some thoughts that aren't fair? Beyond that, you will get people who, as Craig mentioned, just have a different agenda than yours. And this might be people that are really high level at your company. These are the toughest. When you okay, so let's start with the easiest. That's, path of least resistance. You have people that just do not epitomize these core values or not even close to them, and they're not a great performer. Okay. That's pretty easy for all of us, right? You need to just let them go. You need to let them know what they've done. You need to have some sort of improvement plan and see if they can begin to change. And then eventually it might just lead to them being terminated. The second category there is the person who doesn't really fully epitomize those core values, but they're very high level. They do a lot. They contain a lot of knowledge. They're really great at their job. They might have influence from team members. And that is the most dangerous.
Hmm.
And I will say that I have felt this at my company multiple times from multiple people. And some of them, it was my fault because the relationship kind of just grew stale, if you will. And others, as much as I try to blame myself on everything, I'm like, that person was just like a conniving person. And I still might be wrong. I'm fighting with my own things here. But when you have a high level person, and if someone's been with you for a long time and they're not on the same wavelength as you, again, ask yourself, like, what can you do to get connected back with them? There's probably some misunderstandings. There's probably enough times that you canceled a meeting on them, or you weren't able to connect, or you didn't ask them, or items like that you just grew apart. Right, and think of this in your lives, like, relationships with people, like, think of it right now. Like, when's the last time you called someone that used to be important to you? And maybe you're now like, "Oh, they didn't call me. Oh, they haven't called me forever." And they're
Hmm.
probably thinking the same thing. "Well, Todd hasn't called me. He doesn't care about me. He's too busy." In the situations where you have that high level person, you need to try to connect with them, and you need to see where you got off course. Maybe you can salvage it. Be best if you can salvage it. If not, what would be best for that individual? Maybe you can help them transition. They can help you transition into a new person. But I will tell you that if you feel like your back's up against the wall right now and you've gone through some of those conversations with them and you're just not seeing a response to them, as tough as it may seem, what's best for you and them is that you part ways.
Mhm.
I can think of some people that were here a long time that I really love. I have great memories of building WoW with them, and they're just not here anymore. And it was time. And they are happier and we are better.
So I've been a manager of a radio station before, and those conversations are the hardest ones to have, and letting people go that maybe do have that high performance position or
Mhm.
ability. It can be scary because you think I'm going to lose. I'll just ask a question. When you had to go through that, Todd, did WoW lose business? Did it hurt the business? What was there any negative repercussions? What happened?
Oh, I was terrified. I will tell you that I was terrified, thinking, "How can I lose this person?" And it was not easy. Okay, core value
Mhm.
number 2 came up. It was not easy, but what I found is that all the other employees were like, "Oh, yeah, fine, like, finally," kind of thing. Like, they're
Mhm.
not telling. I don't know that they told me that. In one instance, like, I had those conversations with them, like, "Todd, you finally did it. Thank you." But if you have a high level person that's not in alignment with you, your employees notice it. And they're like, why is that person getting away with it? Well, if
Hmm.
they get away with it, I should get away with it. If this person talks about other people behind their back, then I should get to talk about people. And you develop this culture that is very, very dangerous.
Hmm.
It's this cancerous culture that's very dangerous. But when I did that, Craig, people were like, "Oh, great. Finally, Todd came to his senses." And then those people step up. And it was like, I don't know why I didn't anticipate that. Even coaches told me that would happen. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm just going to have to
Hmm.
work 80 hours a week now. But people step up and people make it better. Steve and Jess, they started as assistants here in way different departments. Jess quality controlled photos when she came in. Steve built social media posts when he came in. But they so aligned with me and the core values, the mission of the company, and they made it better. And now they're running it, and it's better than I could ever be.
That's good. I'm thinking about my own role right now and how in the next year or so it probably will be shifting,
Mm, mm,
and how can, yeah, how can I step up to make it better for our clients and help them understand, say for example I'm shooting less and doing more business development. Some of these clients I've shot for years
mhm,
now, and they prefer me, and that's very humbling. It makes me feel good, but I know that as I get older, I don't want to deal with the heat. I don't want to deal with the cold. My knees might be starting to ache a little bit on stairs all day. And but helping them understand that, hey, we're bringing on team members that have an even more creative eye and are going to do fantastic visual work for you. And I'm still here to make sure that we follow through on all of that and that we take care of you. My heart is to serve you.
mm,
Um, and yeah, stepping up into that new space of responsibility, it builds excitement, I think, for team members. Admittedly, some apprehension. I'm a little apprehensive about upcoming changes in my role and what that's going to look like, but it's a nervous anticipation and excitement as well as to what are the possibilities.
mhm.
So
So actionable steps.
yeah.
If you're, yeah, this sounds great. Just where do I begin? Begin by thinking about why you started your business and what is important to you. Even if you're solo right now, think about these things. And from that, feed it into AI and say, I'm trying to create my core values. These are things that are important to me.
Hmm.
Work through it and finesse those items. You don't need to have 5. You could have 3 core values, but what's important to you
Mhm.
and what North Star values do you want your employees or future employees to follow when a situation's not written in your handbook?
Or it becomes muscle memory. right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I know this feels like fluff, this warm, touchy feeling. You're like, Todd, yeah, you're all about these feelings. I will tell you that when Shannon told me to do this, when I hired her on many moons ago as a consultant to help build a sales program, she said, "What's your core values?" I said, "What? I just want more sales." She's like, "No, we need to start here." Like, no, just I want those accounts. Like, well,
Show me the money.
so if you're having those thoughts, I had the same things, but I did that exercise and it's actually very easy now because you can feed it into AI and it can help you with these things. Get them down. And then your goal is the next time you're with a team member, if you don't have a team with a client, mention it. Mention one of them in some sort of a sentence or in passing, and then always keep it top of mind. That is your goal. That's your job as the owner of your company to preach those core values. Let your employees do their job based on those core values. And when everybody's in alignment, you all will move forward. Craig, that was a whole bunch of buzzwords for me. I'm sorry to end that was like 7 buzzwords and 12 words, but
That's all right, Todd. I had my business buzzword bingo sheet and I was marking them off, and
did you
I did
get
get a bingo on the up and down on the B column. So for those of you that haven't heard that story, maybe I'll share it in another episode. I've shared that in past episodes. I actually did create and play a business buzzword bingo card with an inside sales department that I was part of many moons ago. Anyway,
uh,
it was great fun.
we should create one, Craig, and we should send it out to all the listeners and they can play bingo during the podcast and we'll give away.
I was thinking starting smaller with our staff meeting on Friday mornings. Maybe I'll do that. I'll send out an email to everybody but Todd.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I will tell you, here's just one more thing, and then I'll be done. But I have found over the years that it's really great when people laugh at Todd. I don't mind it at all. I'll give shots back. Like if you know me, you all know me. Like if you listen to this long enough, like I'll add, a thing about Craig's face tattoo here and there and put him on the spot. But I love taking it as well. And it is great when your team members can feel so comfortable with you that they can laugh at you too. We're all just a bunch of silly humans. Dennis, my coach from years ago, that was a phrase he used all the time. It was like, Dennis, I can't believe I did that. Well, Todd, we're just a bunch of silly humans.
I think we take ourselves too seriously sometimes, especially in building a business. We're not to speak against professionalism. We do want to be professional. I do have clients tell me that I'm very professional, but I'm also me, right? I can't not be me because then life is miserable.
Oh,
So
yes.
build a culture where you can let people be who they are, whether they're Star Wars nerds or, sports fanatics we're human beings. We're not human doings. We're human beings.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
I
anyway,
love that, Craig. Build a culture where people can be themselves. Mhm. Good
yeah.
stuff, Craig. Thank you.
Well, thanks for all you shared, Todd. We'd love your comments. If you've got some examples of culture that you build or values that are important to you, we'd love to hear those. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment. If you found this beneficial, a like always helps get the word out to other people in the industry. Feel free to share it. We appreciate that. Never expect it. That's part of why we don't ever lead the podcast with, "Hey, share, like, and subscribe." It's If you share, like, and subscribe, we appreciate that. That's not our end goal. We just want this to be valued to you. So thank you for watching. Thank you for the comments. And again, we've said it many times in the past. If you have a specific uh, topic that you'd like to see us cover in the podcast, whether Todd and I can handle it ourselves, or if it's something we're not sure and we'll find the right person to address it, drop us an email. It's just hello@spiro.media. Let us know what you're looking for information on, and we'll try and tackle it for you. Todd, any closing thoughts?
Craig, I just really love the way you ended. Like if you can just if you're can be yourself, your employees can be themselves. Don't be so professional. I did that for way too many years. I think that's really great advice.
Well, when you walked into the Spiro conference with a pink furry coat, I I knew. Yeah, we can let loose a little bit.
Craig, speaking, I don't know if anybody's listening right now. Probably not. I know I get we all drop off at the end when the topic's done, but Spiro Sync 2027. We've got a venue, we got dates. Check out the website, click Spiro Sync up there, get your tickets. It's going to be bigger, better than ever. I'm so excited about the team's been working so hard, but get your ticket now. They're going to sell out quick. We don't have a ton of them, but it's going to be a fantastic event in 2027.
It was a lot of fun here in 2026. So if you missed it, we'd love to see you there. So,
Yeah.
All right, Todd, thank you. Those of you taking the time to listen, to watch during busy season here in the U.S., thank you. We don't take that for granted. Make sure you take a few moments for yourself, just to be thankful for the blessings in your life, and make sure you take a breath. We all need that. Sometimes we need multiple breaths. All right. You guys have a great week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.